Hello everyone. Today we're gonna be talking about a really old perfume house of Oriza Legrand, which I have come to know, and I think it's been a couple of years that the first bottle came to my attention. I think the first bottle that I picked up was the Heliotrope bottle, just because the name, I was curious about it, and I have since kind of discovered more fragrances from them. That is the logo of the house. The Oriza Legrand is one of the really old perfume houses. I'm just going to read a little bit of a description of the house. It may be a little bit too long, but bear with me. Oriza Legrand was in the 19th century the provisionaire of the royal courts of France, England, Italy, and Russia. I don't know what provisionaire means. If you know, please let me know in the comments. For example, for the Russian imperial court were created Eau Violette de César, Violette de César pour le mouchoir, Double Violette de César, and Parfum de Legrand Rousse. Sorry if I'm butchering the names. The name of the perfume house is a combination of two names, Maison Oriza and El Legrand. Maison Oriza was founded by the famous royal perfumer Jean-Louis Fargeon in the 1720. The name Oriza is game of words. Or means gold, and Reve means rice. The last means the rice powder for wigs and makeup. Interesting. Louis Legrand bought it in 1811 from the heirs of the famous perfumer, along with archives of perfumes and cosmetics, and opened his shop on the Rue Saint-Honoré, which is kind of a lot of perfume stores are located in France. I don't know if I saw the house of, I don't know if their store is still on Rue Saint-Honoré, but I can't remember visiting their store. Half a century later, in 1860, he gave it to his more young and active partner, Antoine Reynaud. Under the guidance of Antoine Reynaud, in 1879, the company released the world's first perfume line. That's a claim. Parfumerie Oriza, in which each perfume were accompanied with cosmetic products with the same name and design of package. Nowadays, such step is obvious to marketers, but in 1879, Reynaud was a pioneer ahead. Houbigant, Lubin, and others. The success of this line has led Reynaud to the idea to assign the company name Oriza et Legrand. In 1887, the company Oriza et Legrand patented and produced the world's first solid perfumes. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Whole manufacture, from the distillation and maceration of perfume ingredients to labeling, from soap making to grinding rice for powder, was concentrated at a factory in Levallois-Perret. In spring 1890, when almost in every arrondissement in Paris was perfume market, where it was possible to buy fine perfumes cheaper, company Oriza et Legrand launches new luxury store on, I guess it's not on Saint-Honoré, on Palais de la Madeleine, showing its course to true luxury. Company Oriza et Legrand has successfully participated in international exhibitions, blah, blah, blah. And then they have collaborated with Baccarat and created the perfumes for royalty, but a few genuine masterpieces from Crystal. They have created a few violet fragrances, amber fragrances, and I think they have 30 perfumes in Fragrantica inventory. So I don't think there are 30 perfumes are still available in the catalog, but I have 4 of them. So I have Le Regent, Empire des Indes, and I have Oriza Legrand Heliotrope, which I think used to be called Heliotrope Blanc, but they had to change the name because I think that's with the LT Piver house that they also have Heliotrope Blanc, so that just been changed. And Reve d'Océan. I have 3 bottles at 100 ml and 1 bottle at 50 ml. They have a promotion a few times a year where you buy a 100 ml bottle and you get a 50 ml bottle of your choice for free. So that's a good time to benefit from the promotion. The promotion was still up on Friday, so I thought maybe this is a chance to kind of talk about these perfumes. So if you go on their website and browse. I don't know if the promotion is up, but usually twice a year they have this promotion, and they ship for free, like at a reasonable price. I don't know what that would be. I think 100 ml bottles are €180, and then the 50 mls are €150. I saw today, as of today, when I was on the website, that they have extracts as well. The price of extracts, they're not the same as the perfume line. At least I didn't think so. Like the name of the perfumes are not the same. And they are €320 each, which is quite a bit, but it didn't say what the quantity is. So I couldn't find what is the quantity, how many mLs is in one bottle. But there are a few, and the notes of certain ones were interesting. So we shall see. So the first one I want to talk about is from the house of Oriza and Legrand. And you see this, bottles are like this, and they have a little tassel, and you'd see it in the thumbnail of this video. So these are the 100 ml bottles. The first one I want to talk about is Le Regent. This is so good. Le Regent is categorized as an Oriental fragrance and launched in 2020. So I think I got this one like 2021 or 2022. And the note says it all and calls my name. Benzoin, Tolu balsam, Peru balsam, benzoin vanilla, ambergris, base notes are popinac, skyag wood, and leather. Here I am. So they talk about Le Regent. The first tome of the collection, Jewels of the Crown, explores the 18th century archives of the Maison Oriza et Legrand, which was then called Parfumerie Oriza des Fargeons Années, at the court of Louis XV, also called in Europe the Perfumed Court. Oh, interesting. Oriza Perfumery has had store in the enclosure of the Court Carré in the Louvre in 1720. The Regent, a diamond of 140.5 carats, is considered as one of the most beautiful diamonds in the world that you can see today in the Galerie Apollon at the Louvre in Paris. I did not know that. Okay, so I have pre-sprayed the blotters. I received a phone call just before this video, so they stayed a little bit longer than I would have liked them to be. This is so good. Like, there's some powdery aspects into this. Like, a lot of fragrances of this house have that powdery aspect into it. I think it goes with the history of the house being like producing cosmetics and things like that. Maybe that's something that they kind of wove into their fragrances. But what I'm getting the most from this is a lot of resinous notes, benzoin, Tolu balsam, vanilla, popinax. Oh, so good. And very, very soft leather in the back. I looked at the comparison on Fragrantica, and I was surprised to see black tie. And black tie has nothing to do with this, to be honest. I don't know where it's coming from. This doesn't even have iris, so it is strange to compare it to black tie. However, I could see maybe in a distant cousin way of a comparison to Cuir Beluga, although Cuir Beluga is much more vanillic than this one. Oh, so beautiful. The longevity and sillage of this fragrance is great, and it'll last me all day, and I am happy to have a bottle. I think I bought this in the promotion when like buy a 100 ml and get a 50 ml for free, and shared a little bit of it with a friend, but I should really start wearing it more. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance. And in the first spray, let's try it, the fresh. So that was the dry down. Really, really soft leather with like all the resinous notes. Just and interestingly enough, I get ambergris and vanilla right much more in the opening than it is in the dry down. I don't get like a leather and all the other soft notes, and that makes it a little bit more powdery in the opening. But all in all, it's a gorgeous perfume. If you can try it, get your hands on it. They also have sample packs in it. I don't know the price of the sample packs, but they have them available. Next fragrance I want to talk about is Empire des Indes, and I think I also got this one. And even the look at the imagery on the bottle is so beautiful. and I think I got this one as well in their promotions with 2 other 50 mls. So Empire des Indes by Oriza et Legrand is an oriental fragrance and was launched in 2021. Top notes are ginger and bergamot. Middle notes are tolu balsam, nag champa, and heliotrope. Base notes are popinax, benzoin, sandalwood, and tonka bean. It's kind of, you see the DNA running in these fragrances, right? Queen Victoria would often stay at the Excelsior Regina Palace in Nice, France. Then owned by Oriza et Legrand. The house created this precious perfume in honor of her loyal client, the Empress of India, to remind the glorious days of Maharajas. Interesting. So, and we have, let me just try it fresh, and then I will try the blotter. Obviously, like the spices just hit you right away, right? Like it's just your nostrils get filled with the spices. Like a lot of ginger, bergamot, and there's something like, I don't know what nag champa is, but something a little bit piney in there. All I can smell at the opening is the beautiful mix of spices, with a little bit of a bergamot and then a little bit piney. In the dry down, though, it gets like teeny tiny animalic, and I don't know where that's coming from. There's some animalic, there's some powderiness from heliotrope, tonka bean, and a popinax. So, but it's just teeny tiny bit animalic on the strip. I can't recall it going animalic on my skin, but today I smell it for some reason. And I don't know what note it's coming from, or there's some animalics in this one. It's gorgeous. It's not like, I'm not very, I don't like animalics. I don't recall this turning animalic on my skin, so it may be just something that's on the strip, which is bizarre because usually my skin really accentuates the animalic notes. But this is the gorgeous perfume. Definitely lasts all day and longer, I would say, like all work day and longer, and worth trying, absolutely. The next fragrance I'm going to try is traditionally called Heliotrope Blanc, but it is actually now called Heliotrope. And it's a floral fragrance, and from the name, obviously, the shiny armor of this fragrance is the heliotrope. But I did not know, and I read in Fragrantica, heliotrope now makes sense. Heliotrope means to turn towards the sun. I didn't know that, but that makes sense because the helio is sun, right? Like has something to do with the sun. And heliotrope was called herb of love. It's supposed to be a plant known as God's herbs, a delicate blend of almond and iris. A note from the brand. Okay, and this was launched in 2014. So this is quite a bit older, older kind of perfumes in this line that I have. And I think the oldest is a Reve d'Océan that I have, but this is a second oldest. And God, this is powdery. Like this is, if you do not like powdery, do not go here. Like, I mean, from the name is heliotrope, but this is like a powder bomb. Like as soon as you spray, is a huge heliotrope violet, almond and iris, and a little bit of a mimosa. And that, I don't know, sometimes mimosa gives me that little bit of a waxiness, and there's this in there. And when it dries down, you could smell the tonka bean and a little bit base notes a little bit more, but like really for the whole duration of the fragrance, yeah, this is a powder bomb, powder bomb. And the rice note comes a little bit later, like in the dry down. I can smell it here, but not much here. It's much more heliotrope here. But it is an absolute powder bomb in a way that, you know, make up you a little bit waxy. So if that's not something that you like, just don't go with it. But to me, I love that. And sometimes I crave that kind of powdery. I feel like it's comforting sometimes, and that's sometimes something that I need. It's kind of when I crave that, generally is when I need escape from the world to Fantasyland, and that's where I like to just I spray this and then think about the novels that I used to read about the French royalty and all the things and their lives. And I like when I read a book like in historical novel like that, I imagine the scenes in my mind, and like in my imagination somebody was wearing this fragrance, and it kind of, it's just such a comforting thing for me. And when I need to take a break from the stresses of the world today, and got to go to the fantasy land a little bit, this would be a perfect perfume for that. The next one I want to talk about, and I purchased this from one and only Paroli. Shout out to Paroli, and this is the 50 ml one, and this is called Rêve d'Océan. Rêve d'Océan is actually, even though it says that it was released in 2012, but this is taken from the really original formulas of really old formulas of the house. I read it somewhere, and considered an Oriental woody 2012 fragrance. Incense, pine tree, aldehyde, LME, benzoin, cinnamon, opopanax, tonka bean, gaiac wood, labdanum, amber, sandalwood, musk, and leather. Oceanism is a romantic poetry style in Europe in the 19th century. Ocean is the narrator and author of a cycle of Celtic and epic poems. Ocean was influential in the development of romantic movement at the end of that's 18th century and the 19th century. The poems achieved international successes, and many writers, painters, and artists were influenced by the works, including certain people, as called here. And what did they say about it? And Oriza Legrand perfumes. So I guess this is inspired from the poems, or like the style of poetry. Anyways, did I spray it? No, I don't think I did. The sprayers on these ones are quite strong. Ooh. Right off the bat, that kind of the incense and the piney notes like just hits your nose quickly. This is kind of a fresh forest, like, I don't know, start of the spring. And aldehydes gives it a little bit of a fizziness. There's a labdanum. I don't smell the leather out of this one, but we'll see in the dry down. Yeah, the dry down is quite sweeter. I can smell the cinnamon, opopanax, tonka bean, ambery notes in the dry down, but it opens with kind of like, it almost like opens with the cooling effect. You know how the incense, so there's a warm incense, like that would be like mixed with amber and vanilla and something like that. And there's the cooling incense, to me anyways, I don't know if that's a term, that you start with, darn it, I just realized that I did not put the pictures of the fragrances with the notes up, but that's okay. There's the cooling incense that is with pine tree and like the pine note and incense, and then there's the the warm incense that is with the ambery notes and things like that. This one opens it. It opens with kind of cool incense, and it dries down to like warmer notes and the cinnamon and tonka and all those beautiful notes in the base. Just because, just because I have them here, let me just go through them again. Adding to stage, so this was, there's the Regent, so with all the notes, obviously this is, I think from all four of them, the Regent would be my favorite, and then Heliotrope for special purposes. So the second one was the Empire des Indes, which is quite a bit of spice that I smell, and I guess Nag Champaca, I don't know what that is, the picture says, but also resinous notes in the dry down with a touch of animalic. The next one is the powder bomb, as you can see in the note, Heliotrope, and that has violet leaf, heliotrope, almond, iris, mimosa, rice, and all of those powdering notes all together. It's just a powder bomb, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And in the opening, I smell more heliotrope, and then comes iris almond and mimosa, and then dry down, I smell rice note quite a bit more than opening. And then the Reve d'Océan, that is incensey, coniferous in opening, and then it's resinous and warming in the base. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of this. Let me know all the words that I butchered, maybe the correct pronunciation or what they mean. Have you tried anything from this fragrance house? What do you think of them? Especially I want to know if you have heard anything about their extrait line, and if you have tried them, please let me know. And if you like the content, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification button to be notified for the next video. And with all of that, have a good day.